and then we'll just do the fluid attack. So just cross like so. Right, so switch there, and then there you go. I always wondered what Ian would say about the learning curve in this, because he likes to study that sort of thing. All right. So in the last knife episode we had, we talked about there's two styles, right? There's the Saksak, which is, Professor, can I borrow you for a second? So you're going to hold it like this, called the Saksak, and it's typically you're going to be at this kind of a range here, and if he's got the same grip, it's going to be pretty much equal in terms of distance. And so we're going to be stalking ourselves here. Target's going to be hand, face. He's going to be doing the same thing to my hand, to my face, and if I can get down to the knee, great. Again, I think it's more effective with a knife than a stick, but you can do either one. You can make a living on either one. And the thrust. So you're going to be here, thrust to the face, thrust to the body. Depending on how he fights, if he leads, say, because sometimes some people, even though the weapon's in the right hand, they'll lead with the left for whatever reason, And if you see that, cut, and just like jiu-jitsu, if they give you a limb, take it. You've seen us. If I see, when we go, if I see a hand out too long, I'm going to cut it. If I see the head leaning in too long, I'm going to take a shot at it with the Saksak. So, that's the first grip in there. I show you that because it's the most popular and it's the easiest one to kind of teach. It's the one you're going to run into most of the time out in the field. Not that we have to look for this sort of thing, but that's when it happens. And it's the easy one to kind of learn. Now, the flip side, this one here is the Pakal, and it's the ice grip, axe murderer, whatever you want to call it. Very powerful, but if he has a Saksak, go with the Saksak, I lose the range game because I'm giving up so much.
You're pretty even right now.
Well, I mean,
you got longer arms.
Not that long, because if I'm coming in, he's going to get that or the face even or the thrust. For me to get here, you're going to get there before I reach. However, you'll notice a lot of times that if I flip to here, or even if I'm in this position here, I will switch leads every now and then. And that habit actually wasn't started with the Saksak, it was with the Pakal, because the Pakal, I know I'm giving up 6-7 inches already just from this one here. So I'm going to lose the range game. And if he's quick and I try to close, he's going to sidestep or angle out or something like that, right? So I'm losing that much distance. So what I end up having to do is I'm not going to, a lot of people say, oh, I'll fight this way. It's a losing battle. If he's got any sort of a game on him, he's going to get this. Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to get, hey, good morning. So I'm going to be at this level here. He's going to win that thing, and he's going to be moving around. He's going to be cutting at my hand. I'm going to try and cut. It's just not going to be as effective. So typically with the Pakal, you'll find people starting out this way, but they'll switch a lot. And the reason you switch is if I feel this is out at all, even to say a little extended, not like, because no one's going to be that one, maybe, but unlikely. They won't be knife fighting for long, I'll put it that way. If it's just kind of like this, what I'm looking for is a setup so that I can parry. I'm not grabbing it. You'll never grab it because it's too quick, too slippery, too just evasive. As I come across here, I'm gonna parry. As I'm coming in, this is coming over the top, like that. Most of your shots with this is going to be that. Now, there are times when, let's say he thrusts at me, I'm going to be trying to do that. That's great as a drill. I found in actual practical, when he's not being a dummy and he's actually trying to hit me, really hard. Because all of us know the knife fighting. Hey, come on in, man. Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Did your dad show up, or is he just?
He's on the way.
He is? Okay, good enough.
And he'll be one other student on the way too.
Right on, right on. So we're covering knife today, obviously. So if I'm going to here, if I try to do this, he's got the range, and if he thrusts in, this I'm going to lose this. And you'll find also with a stick that you'll probably end up doing the same thing. So for example, let's say you have a stick, which we remember very well how that went, and the range.
Oh, really dangerous.
Yeah. So the range with this is obvious. I mean, the realistic deadliness with a knife, I think, is a little more than the stick. However, I got to get past this guy, and I'm not going to parry it, because if I parry it, there's a tendency, everyone, you'll see the movie where they'll parry with a knife. Really low probability. What usually happens is that, exactly. You'll get whacked in the hand. And you might get whacked a few times because they ping, ping, like that. It doesn't take too many times. With a pillow stick, you can kind of get away with it. That you cannot. You will feel it. It's instant feedback on that. So again, if I'm going to be fighting you, the guy with the stick, I can't be this range. And I'm not even going to try and pretend to block it with this. With a stick, I would. Stick is a lot of, you'd be an umbrella basically. So what you have to do is to time it, because he knows that if I get here, it's bad for him. I can take a blunt shot, maybe here, maybe in the arm, not on the head, preferably not, and not on the weapon hand either. So if I'm going to close, I got to time it like a jump rope. If you've done jump rope before, so he'll swing, and then I got to come back like this. Now, a lot easier said than done. They're saying, oh, you weave out and you come back in. Yeah, he's not going to stand there. So when you do come in, you got to keep, if you get a knife this way or the Pakal, you got to keep it this way here, and you have to be threatening the whole time, but not stupid. All right. So if I see too much, if I see this a lot, remember, if I have a stick and I see it locking in like this, that I will come behind, but if I have a stick. But in this case, I've got to make sure, I've got to time it in such a way so that if I don't time it properly, I come in, bam, that's what's going to happen. So what I had to do is to move around this. You trust me, with a knife against a weapon, a long weapon, I still think a knife is better because it's more deadly. That's pretty good too, though. And especially if you've got a rebar, piece of steel, and I come in, you're not blocking it with your forearm. You're breaking it with your forearm. So when you come in, you're going to keep your distance against that kind of a weapon. Now, against another knife, not as big an issue. I'm not worried about him loading up here and coming down here, because it's totally different physics, mechanics, and all that stuff. So what I'm going to try and do here, I'll try and set up this. If he's got now he's doing the right thing in terms of this. This is a very good habit. If you notice how his knife's in tight like this, because if he's gone against somebody who does close, which is what, I mean, the whole point, effectiveness of this is you got to get here. Once I'm here, even if he does this, if he catches it in mid-flight, let's say I parry it for a second, he catches the mid-flight, maybe. This is a lot of stuff coming out of it. Bam, bam, boom, like this. Up, boom, like that. Usually, though, what happens is you're coming in, maybe I parry, maybe you get that. You probably won't, but like this. I'll be coming in like this and jamming him. If there's a wall behind him or an obstacle to trip him over, so much the better. But I'm driving this in. I have to get to this range. He only needs to be this range to poke me or get some sort of a shot in. So, oh, Kurt, morning.
How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Good.
I would also say Kurt's done this for quite a while too, so if he has input on it when you train with him, he'll probably have some nice insights on stuff that I leave out on occasion. So what you're trying to do with the Saksak is keep range. What you're trying to do with the Pakal is to close, but close not recklessly. So what I want you to do is to pair up, and when you're pairing up, one person's going to have the Saksak, one person's going to have the Pakal, and you with the Pakal, let's say I'll be the Pakal person for a second, you with the Pakal, you're trying to position yourself in such a way so that you can close that. All I'm trying to do is to keep it from going up. That's all I'm trying to do. You'll never grab it. It's not Hollywood. You'll never be able to get that because people are quick, especially if you're doing this stuff. Everyone's here for a reason. You want to learn how to use this. You're going to get quick, and what you're developing here, you're developing an eye. And the eye is, you know, if I'm coming in, what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get here. I have to protect myself, and I'll close if I can. So I'm going to want you to develop that reflex and that eye. So when you close, you know what to do. Fair enough? All right. One more time, man. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. You too. God, you look. How'd you get so handsome? Not from him.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean.
I had to come from somewhere.
Okay, I think there's a pro and a con for that. But to answer your question, you know, I'm losing the range game because if I go here, you got the range. So what I have to do is to try and just find that crevice for a second. Like right here, if I see, I might do that instead. Right. And I got maybe that much time to pull it off. So here I'm trying to, coming in like this. When I'm coming in, you're probably looking at this. Right. Which is kind of the point. Right. So here I'm going to hold this. I want that. Right. I'll probably go through that. I mean, you may block it. Mm-hmm. You might, and let's say you do. Boom, you block it up here. I'm going to pull it in and then come across like that.
Right. But how likely am I to block that, with the muscles that you're using in the angle? I mean, with just this hand, I feel like it would just
not much.
On me. Yeah.
But I got to get there.
Right.
How are you guys doing?
Great. Whatever you want. What are you working on?
Steve has that this Steve here has that wiry body, Yeah. That's very light. Yeah. Which is nice.
Thank you.
All right, switch one more time. I'm going to break you two up. Sorry, guys. Ashley, go with Steve. Kurt, go with Professor Steve. Oh, and then you guys go together. Yeah, I think you'll like. But I mean, your awareness of range is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something you I'm gonna say you've always had, but it kicked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which it's fun to see that, because beforehand I could take a shot, and now it's like I'm just like, exactly. Yeah, I'm like just like damn it. What's that?
Professor's using the high and low line.
Oh yeah.
He's going here. He's looking here and he's going here.
Nice.
That's so cool.
Oh yeah, well, guy's been around.
Yeah.
Okay, time.
I got a very fencing vibe from you.
All right, so here's how we're going to do it. One guy's going to start in Pakal. One guy's going to start with the Saksak. And you guys decide which one you want to use. But halfway through, so at a minute 15, I'm going to call it out and you're going to switch.
Okay.
All right? Okay. You guys are up. Ashley, you want to be on deck?
I'll take the call.
When I show the Pakal initially. It's usually after we've gone over the Saksak, because I'll hear me when I start class. This is Saksak, this is the Pakal. It's been my experience that it's easier to show the Saksak at first, just because it's kind of a natural grip. People are used to cutting things, whether it's in the kitchen or whether it's out in the woods, if you're doing slicing things up. Just that's the natural thing. This is, it's natural, but in a different sense. Both of these are primal in terms of holding the knife like this or like this. This is visceral. And this has one purpose, holding it like this. And that is to close on your opponent or adversary and start stabbing as hard as you can. And you saw in one of the previous posts that that's pretty hard to deal with if you're even with a stick. But I mean, if you have with or without a weapon, someone intent on closing you with this grip, that's all they want to do, and that's all they really can do. You can make a case where you do this in sparring or in fighting. You can also make a case where you're parrying or you're going to, catch a kick here. I found that in practice, it's great in theory, and you can develop to a certain point drills or even a reflex where you can do this, but it's really hard. If you're going against a guy who's a good kicker or, multiple people, you want to close. And the hardest thing to teach about the Pakal is you have to get used to the fact that you're giving up, this much in terms of range. If you have the knife like so, you're moving back and forth. That's not bad. And I call this knife offense because I think knife is an offense weapon, primarily defense. But if you had to pick between this and this would be more what you could say defense, but a defense in a way that, if someone's threatening you or your family, you can keep them at bay like this and attack at the same time. This one here, you can keep them at bay, but you have to close and make an intentional movement to start pretty much pounding away with this weapon. So the tactics are going to be different. With the Saksak, you can afford a little bit of range, you can afford a little bit of distance. I would say against another weapon like this, or even a little longer, you still have to close. But with this one, you really have to close. And there's going to be a lot of experimentation. Frankly, you're going to have to learn, really get familiar with distance, how to close, when to close. But I have found that out of 10 people you show this or this to, 8 of them will prefer the Saksak just because it gives them the range. There'll be those 2, and it's pretty close to that almost every time out of every group, that feel this. And some people say if it's taller or short, actually, if anything, they've been a little on the shorter side, where they like this grip and they develop the eye and they develop the ability to sense when to close and when not to close. Like I said, with this, you have to close. And when you are engaging with a longer weapon, like a stick, for example, you got to respect the range. Conversely, if you are the person with a stick going against someone like this, know that their 90%, 99% of their offense is to close immediately, or not immediately, but to close inside your range. So when you have this grip, be threatening. Don't be passive. And what you don't do, if your opponent's over here, for example, you can do this. It's kind of an empty threat, to be honest with you, because everyone knows if I'm like this or I have a stick, this at best might deflect a stick if it's coming to your head. You're not going to catch it. You're not going to catch it like this. You're not going to catch it like this. You're going to catch it with your other hand, or you're going to weave out. So when you are with this, be threatening, but be out of range. Like I said, be threatening, but don't be stupid. That's what I mean by that. Be threatening the whole time. You can lead with this, I find myself switching a lot because particularly against another, well, anything really, but another knife that's in the saksak position, most people will lead with, and I encourage this, if you have the saksak, you're going to be leading like this. Well, I lose that much range when I go to this grip, but you will maneuver yourself in such a way that even though you'll have this, and you'll see me do this, I'll be like this, and I'll switch leads as I move back and forth, I'll switch leads. So this is my lead. All I'm trying to do in a case like that is to parry the hand, and I'm not, I say you're not going to catch it going up. I've seen times where I've caught it going up, but I caught the hand itself, but it's rare, and I'm not going to make a living on it. But I'm just trying to keep it from going up and into me. So I'm parrying, either I push it back or just keep it from going up, because most of the time when someone's closing on you, their instinct is to come up and either meet you or maybe even evade you. But if you're coming down, you'll catch it. Usually ends up being out here and stuck for just a second. And then at that point, you're in and you close and you pound. So, like I said, this has one range and it's close, and it has pretty much one strike, and it's usually this to be effective. Now I've done it where you come across and hit on the side. Yes, it happens, but most of the time it's because your opponent wasn't paying attention, or you set them up in a perfect way, which happens. But just go in knowing that if you're going against someone like this happens, but this is really where the money is for that guy. And if I'm closing, I'm going to be timing it, and I'm going to be coming in, and you're going to keep it in tight. You're not going to be going up like that. You're going to bring it in kind of like a piston, in and like that. So keep that in mind. You'll see after this post, I'm going to be posting a bunch of other fights where I make some people, I make them fight with this and then switch with this. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.